The following is a today's THV special presentation.
We'll have an in-depth look at the Clinton years and look at why, despite his problems, the president remains very popular. And we'll show you how the president spent his day in Arkansas to say thanks for the memories. Your first 11 minutes right now.
Named Best Newscast by the Associated Press. You're watching 11 on 11, the THV 10 o'clock difference.
Good evening. He's been at the White House for 8 years. President Clinton came back to Arkansas today to say thanks. I'm Andy Pearson.
And I'm Dawn Scott. President Clinton and his daughter Chelsea arrived in Little Rock early this afternoon, reminiscing with friends and ending the day with a farewell address. Liz Massey joins us from the newsroom with more on Clinton's rally. Liz.
Dawn, in just a few days, President Clinton will hand over the reins to his successor. But Clinton says no matter what his future holds, he will never forget where he came from.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
He's walked this path several times, but on this afternoon, it would be his last in Arkansas as president. Making his way through a sea of faces, Clinton remembered the people who gave him this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
I'm the only one that I can honestly say got to be president because he had personal friends who stood up, traveled the country, fought, spoke up, and determined to make the campaign go.
A campaign that drew supporters like Pat Stratton. This was one event she couldn't pass up.
Well, I thought it was historical, and I wanted my granddaughter particularly to be here, and she wanted to. She's beginning to show an interest in the presidents and our government, and I thought it would be a very important thing for her.
And for hundreds of others, Clinton's farewell address captured the attention of both the young and old. 6-year-old Sky says she's sad President Clinton is leaving the White House.
Because he's been a really great president.
Why do you think he's been such a great president?
Because he's leading this country really good.
And this crowd definitely agrees. But Clinton knows it wouldn't have happened without the support of his home state.
And none of it would have been possible without you. I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Now, Clinton and his daughter Chelsea left the rally around 6:30. Tonight, they are back in Washington, and Dawn, Saturday will be Clinton's last day in office.
Did Mr. Clinton speak today at all about his future plans, Liz?
Well, Clinton says he plans on coming to Arkansas often to reminisce and visit friends. He's also looking forward to building his presidential library and center and hopes it will become an educational beacon for everyone in the country.
Of course, Liz Massey tonight. Thank you.
Before his speech this afternoon, President Clinton stopped by his old stomping grounds, the state capitol, the first time a sitting president has ever addressed a joint session of the state legislature. The president was met with a standing ovation, and his message to Arkansas legislators has a familiar ring.
I'm absolutely positive that I may be the only person ever elected president who owes his election purely to his personal friends, without whom I would never have won.
Mr. Clinton also listed a lot of his accomplishments and what he's done for Arkansas, including expanding health care for the poor, erasing the federal deficit, and lowering the unemployment rate. He says it's amazing that a little boy from Hope became president of the United States.
May have been his first trip to the legislature as president, but one place Mr. Clinton has made several trips to is Doe's Eat Place. That's in downtown Little Rock. He became a regular at Doe's while governor and stopped in during visits to Arkansas as president. Today he didn't get a chance to stop by, but he didn't miss out on the food. Nearly 60 pounds of steak plus hot tamales and potatoes were prepared just for the president. The food was taken to Air Force One.
Do you believe Bill Clinton's presidency has benefited Arkansas? That's today's internet poll question. 40% of you who responded said yes, 60% no. Look for another question tomorrow at todaysthv.com. While President Clinton was telling Arkansas goodbye, his successor was bidding farewell to Texas. Thousands of well-wishers braved freezing temperatures to see President-elect George W. Bush off. He grew up in Midland, Texas, where his wife Laura was born. They met there. Bush says he'll take a lot of Texas with him to Washington. Mr. and Mrs. Bush arrived in the nation's capital tonight. His parents fly in tomorrow. Another day on the hot seat for nominee for Attorney General John Ashcroft. He says he does oppose abortion, but he will not lead an effort to ban it, he says. He says he'll also enforce all civil rights laws. The only fireworks today came when Republican John Kyle accused Democrat Ted Kennedy of distorting Ashcroft's civil rights record. Both sides say Ashcroft will likely be confirmed.
Although John Ashcroft got most of the attention, 4 other confirmation hearings were held today. Christy Todd Whitman is the nominee for the EPA administrator. She was questioned by New York's junior senator, Hillary Rodham Clinton. She is one of 2 senators who stayed for the entire confirmation hearing. Former vice presidential candidate Joseph Lieberman also has a seat on the Senate Environmental and Natural Resources Committee.
I was looking at the witness, great governor of a great state whose people are noted for their goodness and wisdom, and I wanted to just express my gratitude for the wisdom their voters showed last November. There'd been just a little more of that. I might not have the thrill of being here with my colleagues this morning.
Confirmation hearings for Treasury Secretary-designate Paul O'Neill and the nominee for Housing and Urban Development Secretary Mel Martinez also went well today. Of course, it was smooth sailing at the confirmation hearing for retired General Colin Powell. He went before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee today. The nominee for Secretary of State was praised by both Democrats and Republicans. He says the Bush administration will continue to work for peace in the Middle East and will be an activist for foreign policy. His confirmation is expected to be unanimous. Log on to today'sthv.com for the Arkansas news stories that affect you. Plus, get Chief Meteorologist Ed Buckner's forecast when you need it and live view radar that shows you storms as they develop. See and feel the difference at today'sthv.com.
On today's THV this morning, you're never more than 11 minutes away from your weather garden forecast.
Plus, you get the latest news and important information to help you start the day.
So wake up with a difference tomorrow, beginning at 5 a.m. on today's THV This Morning.
President Clinton is leaving office with polls showing he's still extremely popular.
65% of voters, in fact, approve the job he did in office. But there will always be a cloud over his 8 years in the White House. He's one of only 2 presidents ever impeached while in the Oval Office.
I'll say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen.
It was the signature moment of a scandal.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
And it turns out a telling snapshot of the nation's 42nd president. Faced with the choice between truth and survival, the truth would have to wait. He would deny it to his wife, to his staff, to his cabinet, to the Democrats who stood by him, and to his friends summoned to testify under oath.
I suspect that I will have to answer the same questions over and over and over again, and I am quite prepared to do that.
Had he confessed in those early days, most advisors believe the president would have had no choice but to resign. Friends insist it wasn't just about holding on to power.
He probably still thought that he could mislead people to the point that it would never be revealed. And certainly he would give his life rather than to have embarrassed his wife and daughter over that affair.
The confession would come 7 months after Monica Lewinsky became a household name, first under oath, then to the nation.
Indeed, I did have a relationship with Miss Lewinsky that was not appropriate.
But by then, the political terrain was very different. The drama had more than one controversial figure, more than one target for the frustration, anger, and disbelief.
I'm you. I'm just like you.
He could say sorry now and survive.
I don't think there is a fancy way to say that I have sinned. It is important to me that everybody who has been hurt know that the sorrow I feel is genuine.
Unfamiliar territory for the country, but not for the man at the center of the storm. Flashback to New Hampshire, early 1992. Acknowledging a relationship with Jennifer Flowers likely would have doomed his campaign. So then Governor Clinton denied it.
It isn't a true story. I read the article. It's not true.
6 years later, in his testimony in the Paula Jones sexual harassment case, Mr. Clinton acknowledged he did have a relationship with Flowers.
Save Social Security first.
2 State of the Union addresses delivered under the cloud of scandal. One guaranteed Clinton legacy is resilience.
I thought, what an enormously talented a guy. What spine this guy has to get up there and do that and under those circumstances. But he knew who he was working for.
Some of his ideas were embraced by the Congress. Many others rejected those contentious final 3 years. Another legacy of the Clinton impeachment is a debate about what might have been. So what if, back in 1993, the Clintons had listened to top advisors and released all their Whitewater
I think
records?
he never would have had a special prosecutor. I think he never would have had Ken Starr, never would have had Monica Lewinsky, and history would have been so different.
Clinton allies say history will record this as a sad chapter, not just for the president, but also for the Congress and the prosecutor, who spent more than $50 million in pursuit of the president.
Just a moment, sir.
He had one case and had the United States Treasury at his back to try it, do the best he could to find whatever he could find.
The independent counsel investigation continues. A decision is approaching on whether to seek an indictment against Mr. Clinton, so the debate will continue too. President Clinton will leave the White House Saturday. His new residence will, of course, be in Chapel, New York.